Hearing none, roll call, please.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
And President Garrett.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. Oh, 6:11 p.m., ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Pontiac School District. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you all. We're going to move into roll call. Madam Secretary, for the regular board meeting.
All right. Trustee Bowman.
Present.
Trustee Kraft.
Present.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Present.
President Garrett.
Present.
VP Gross.
Present.
I'm present. And Treasurer Terry.
Present.
7-0, sir.
All right, thank you. Can we now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There was one item we needed to, where's the attorney? I think he's working on it. We needed to place under, was it information for the superintendent that you wanted to place that one? The lawsuit? Okay, all right. Okay, need a motion on the floor to amend the agenda to, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. To accept, the, what was it for, it was for vaping. I want to wait till the attorney gets here because he'll give me a proper term before we put that on. Anybody know any good songs? Holiday songs, Christmas songs. There you go.
Just in time.
Yeah. The vaping litigation.
Yeah.
The vaping litigation.
Mhm.
We need to put that on an amendment as an agenda. Okay. We're gonna put it under the super. So what was it for vaping? What was the proper title? The proper title?
Motion to approve the Altria lawsuit settlement.
Altria. Okay. Need a motion on the floor to approve the Altria vaping litigation. We're actually going to put that under information from the superintendent and administration under action item 8.3, and it'll be B.
So moved.
So moved by trustee Gross. Thank you. Supported by trustee Davis Smith. Any questions, comments, or concerns to the motion to amend? Hearing none. Madam Secretary?
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
And Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right. Thank you. Now, a motion on the floor to approve the amended agenda.
So moved.
So moved by trustee Bowman, supported by trustee Davis Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
And Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right, awesome. Now that we have a working agenda for this meeting, I want to go down to one of my favorite parts of the meeting is the awards and recognition. Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
So I always like to give the history of how we got here in recognizing the successful programs, students, and celebrating all of the wonderful things that are taking place across the district. The board charged administration to begin to lift the positive outcomes that are occurring throughout our district, whether it's celebrating staff or students. So with that being said, this is the opportunity during our board meeting that we recognize students who go above and beyond. And this is very close to my heart because those that know me closely know that I had a special needs child. And it always helped me to see him through the lens of our Kennedy students and hope and pray that he would be as successful as many of our Kennedy students are exhibiting at our center. With that being said, we have established a work-based program. And this is being led by our special education department as well as the leadership under Dr. Jeremy Devison. This is a large order because with that, you want to ensure that the building principal is in support of the work that the students are going out to do. And what we have seen is that this program continues to grow under the direction of our leader in special education, the director, Dr. Jameson, working alongside with Dr. Devison. So we want to celebrate Dr. Devison today. This certificate is proudly presented to Dr. Jeremy Devison in recognition of her hard work and time spent teaching real-world employable skills to students in Kennedy's work-based learning program. Recently, she has been supporting and working with the students while they organize and categorize our district care closet. Keep up the great work. Signed by myself and Board President Gil Garrett. So this work-based program is allowing our students to come to central office on a weekly basis to help sort and organize our care closet, where individuals go out into the schools and be able to fill their care closets without asking, can they have soap, deodorant, toilet paper, and all these items are donated through our partners throughout the community. So I commend Dr. Devison. Would you please come and receive your certificate? And now we want to recognize the transition coordinator who brings them, and I see her walking through the hallways when she's here, the certificate of distinction. This certificate is proudly presented to Janice McGee in recognition of her hard work and time spent teaching real-world employable skills to students in Kennedy's work-based learning program. Recently, she has been supporting and working with the students while they organize and categorize the district care closet. Keep up the great work on this 23rd day of October. Signed by myself and President Garrett. Is Janice McGee here?
Yes.
Where is she? Come on up here. Thank you all. This is helping the district as well as students throughout the district. Now we want to recognize the students who actually come and give their time and sweat equity into this program. And the first student we want to recognize and provide a certificate of distinction is,
He's not here.
okay,
Henry.
can you pronounce his name? I don't want to.
Henry Alvarado Garcia. And I just wanted to say the transition from the high school to Kennedy School has been very successful by way of our special ed director, Dr. Jameson, in addition to Ms. McGee. So the transition is definitely happening for our students from the high school to Kennedy School. So Henry is one of our students from the high school.
Excellent. And I will just read the one certificate and then we'll have the other students to come up. But the certificates read as Henry Alvarado Garcia in recognition of his hard work and time spent learning real world employable skills in Kennedy's work-based learning program. His work ethic and positive attitude each week have been exceptional. Recently, he has been supporting fellow students by organizing and categorizing the district care closet. Keep up the great work. Signed by myself and President Garrett. And he's not here today, but we will give you his certificate as well as a swag bag. The next student, Donovan Johnson. Are you here? Come on up, Donovan. Right here. They know Heidi because he works with Heidi with the care closet. Thank you, Donovan. Javier Ortiz. Come on up, Javier. Thank you so much. Mariana Riviera. Am I saying it right? Thank you so much. They are so beautiful. Marilyn Martinez. Thank you so much. And we have swag bags for each one of them, if they could please receive their bags as well. And then I'll turn it back over to the board president at this time.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Soup. Any comments from the board? Trustee Gross?
Thank you. Yes. I am just so proud and excited. It goes to show you that when we all come together and work together, what we can do as a district for our children. And I'm going to repeat what the president always says. Every child counts.
That's right.
Everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And my last question. What's the school district?
Pontiac.
Thank you very much.
You said going for this.
No, I ain't say
You
that.
say Clark. What district do you say?
I said Pontiac.
My friend.
Trustee David Smith.
I wanted to tell the students, great job, and thanks everyone for helping them with this. This is a great thing for our students. This summer, I had the pleasure of having a special needs student work for me in the bakery, and his mom told me that with him working with me and the other students that was there, that he has had gotten a lot of support, and that gave him the courage to be able to do well. So now he's going out for another job by just learning with the other students that was in the bakery. So this is a great thing for our students, and it gives them the support as well as the courage to be able to go out and do it on their own.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Bowman.
I just want to say to the entire team, because that's what you all are, a team, keep up the good work, because entering into adulthood and life, you need to know certain skills. And it's great that you took the guidance from the people in front of you to move forward in your adulthood. So congratulations in this process, and keep up the good work, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Trustee Terry.
I just want to say congratulations to everyone over there. I know it takes a team, and it seems like you guys have a team effort there, and it's a good chemistry, and it's always positive to hear things coming back out from the school district and being able just to give back to the community and those that need help. So I want to say thank you very much for all that you do, and continue the good work. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Trustee Kraft.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you too, and I'm congratulating everyone that's involved. And it's my thing. I love to see Pontiac shine, and you guys are making us proud.
Trustee Hannah.
Thank you. I know a lot of times our special students are often overlooked, but I've been over there in Kennedy and saw firsthand how they pour into these students and the love they give. So it's just encouraging to see you working with them in this aspect, helping them to get some real life experience and just the extended care you share with them. So thank you again. Ms. McGee, thank you so much.
All right. I think the trustees said it all. I'm very appreciative of the hard work that you do over there at Kennedy. It shows through just the smiles and them being appreciative of just being recognized today. So as Vice President said, everybody counts in my book, right? You come here, we're going to expose you and give you as much exposure that we can and flood you and give you as many choices and opportunities, and so you can make the right decisions for your child. So thank you, parents that's in the audience who are here supporting your kid, and those who are at home, because that is very important to them, and it helps them feel successful and accomplished even after the bright lights and the TVs and all that stuff goes off. So they're very well loved, and we appreciate you and we thank you for that.
Yes.
We're going to move down to Harrington Bilingual and ESL support team. Superintendent.
Yes, we want to celebrate two individual staff members. This certificate of distinction celebrates proudly to Carolyn Hughes and the entire Harrington Bilingual ESL team in recognition of their experiential and educational celebrations for Hispanic Heritage Month, along with their outstanding PowerPoint presentation. Thank you for all that you do and keep up the great work. Signed by myself and President Garrett. And I want Dr. Alicia, if you can please come up again. We have a population of 38% ELL students throughout our district. And he is the gatekeeper of managing and keeping us apprised of making sure we count everyone, as the board president and VP just stated. So with that, we want to celebrate Carolyn Hughes. Is she here today? Carolyn, come on up. We want to recognize you. Thank you for all you do, as well as Veronica Diaz. Is she here? Thank you, Veronica. We celebrate you both.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I do want to thank everyone. I want to say that we take pride in celebrating the cultural diversity that exists within the Pontiac School District. Diversity is not about how we differ. Diversity is about celebrating everybody's uniqueness. And it is my pleasure to recognize them for their hard work. So thank you for that.
All right.
I'll turn it back over to the board president.
All right. Thank you. Any comments from the board?
Thank
Mr.
you.
VP.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Trustee Kraft.
Thank you. And go Harrington.
You got any other comments from the board? Trustee Bowman.
Just thank you so much for what you do for our district. We appreciate you and keep up the good work.
Okay. Any other trustees? Okay. Thank you again. Again, it's just we love to start off our meetings like this because we have to celebrate the people while we're here. This is not just a community of just one. Is it a community of all? I've been here 25 years, going into my 26th. It's the most diverse, culturally diverse community that I ever had the opportunity of living in. And experiencing the rich history here and continuing that is what we're going to do. We have to tell our own story, and that's what we're going to begin to do. And you're going to see more and more come out in the next couple months as it relates to what we're doing as far as our comprehensive strategic action plan, and then even seeing what these bilingual students are doing as they migrate from the elementary school to the middle school all the way to the high school. So thank you so much. We're going to take a 5-minute recess at this particular point in time because we give them an opportunity if they want to take a photograph and then also to transition back home because they've been a long day for those students. Okay. We're in a 5-minute recess at 6:29. All right. Thank you. What the? Okay. No, I just wanted to do a transition, if they need a transition. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because it makes for a long day for them.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we got all our people. Ready? Troy, ready? Bradley, ready? Terry, ready? Ready? The time now is 6:34. Bring this meeting back to order. For those who are at home, thank you so much for giving us that space. We've done this for about a year and a half now, so you guys are at home are very, I've seen you comment on us as we celebrate our kids, and you asked us to continue to do it throughout the school year, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And so now I'll call the meeting back in order at 6:35 p.m. I need a motion on the floor for the consent agenda.
Support.
So moved by trustee Gross, supported by trustee Bowman. Madam Secretary, when you're ready, roll call, please.
President Garrett,
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman,
Yes.
trustee Kraft,
Yes.
and trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right, awesome. Thank you. We're going to move down to the superintendent's report. I got to say that I'm super excited about this
Yes.
particular report. I love finance. I love the finances of our district. We've watched where we come from. And so I'm glad we do have those who are here in the audience and those who are at home to hear the very solid foundation that your Pontiac School District is standing on. And we didn't get there by accident. So the report is going to be the audit presentation from Yo and Yo, and Superintendent, the meeting is now yours.
Thank you. So this is our annual required outsourced audit that we must have required by the state. And so with that, we have solidified with Yo and Yo to provide our audit results for our ending year, June 30th of 2023. And so after our audit presentation, we will hear from our Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance to give us a summary of what all this means as far as next steps. I do want to say one thing. We did not get here through an easy journey. There were many sacrifices on the backs of employees and the community. And so I want to continuously thank all of the district staff, all of our community for supporting us and helping us to meet this tall order. And now we see the results that it can yield in the classroom. When you have a financial deficit, there are many things that fall short, and we are now seeing in our scores gradually them increase at the state level. So I thank everyone, and I will now turn it over to Yo and Yo.
Hi, everybody.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great.
Well, thank you for having me tonight. My name is Kellen Riker from Yo and Yo, and I am the managing auditor for the district. To start the presentation, I'd like to go over the responsibilities because us as auditors and you as a district have responsibilities in this one. So as a school district, it's your responsibility to provide the auditors with fairly presented financial data. And as the auditors, we have a responsibility to take that financial data, perform audit procedures in order to be able to express an opinion on the financial statements. The next slide here goes over our audit procedures. It's not a list of everything we do, but it's a little list here. But there's basically three parts of the audit. The first is the internal control portion, where we get an understanding of the internal controls at the district. We walk through certain processes. We look over policies and procedures in order to provide feedback for strengthening those internal controls and compliance. The second portion is the financial statement portion, where we perform our procedures in order to express an opinion on the financial statements. And the third portion is the federal section, or the single audit, where we have this because we have over $750,000 of federal funding. And we perform procedures in order to express an opinion on the single audit report. Our next slide here goes over the audit results. And this year we had an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance you can have. And in short, it just means that the financial statements are free from material misstatement.
It's huge.
Next.
Just repeat that one more time. Just repeat it one more time.
All right.
They caught that.
It means that the financial statements are free from material misstatement.
Thank you so much.
The next slide here is a lot of numbers. I'm just going to kind of highlight some
We
things.
like numbers.
Oh, yeah, I love them too. Well, we have a lot of them here. So I'm just going to highlight some of the larger ones. In our asset section, you'll see we have a big amount due from other governments. That's going to be our July and August state aid and also our federal grant reimbursements that we'll receive after year end. You'll also see we have a large amount in cash and investments. You'll see it's broken down into our capital projects funds, where we maintain those for investments to gain a little earnings, and also in cash until we expend those on our projects. If we move down to liabilities, you'll see we have about 13.5 million in accounts payable. 10 million of that is in our capital projects, which is expected. We also have accrued salaries, which is for all of our teachers at the end of June and our other staff members, and also during the summer school month as well. And then we have our unearned revenue, which is grant funding we have received, but we have not recorded the expenses to be able to earn those yet. And if we move down to our fund balance, you'll see we have about $40.3 million in restricted fund balance. It is held in our capital projects funds, which two of them are on this statement, and also in our non-major governmental funds. We have two other capital projects funds and a debt service fund. So those have to be used for those purposes. And, which we like to see, you have this big unassigned fund balance of about $17.1 million.
Woo!
Now, if we go to the next slide here, this is our statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance for our governmental funds. Just shows all where we get the funds and where they go out in each fund. I'd just like to point out that you'll see the capital projects funds, the 2023, we had $25 million in revenue, and in 2020, we had only one. So that's because we passed this up last year, so we had all those funds coming in. Mm-hmm. And you'll see that we expend about $51 million in the capital projects funds. It's typical of the fund. We get the money in, we spend it on projects, so you'll see that money going out. And another big one here I like to point out is the $5.4 million we added to the general fund balance.
Yes.
The next slide here. This is a comparison of the general fund budget, original, final to actual. A lot of things happen during the year. We do original based on what we think is going to happen. Our final is based on a lot of things that happen during the year. And then actual is what happens at the end. So the far right column says percent accurate. So that's within 100%. So The revenues and other sources, we are within 1.1% accurate, which is
Yes.
amazing. So, and then we also have our expenditures and other uses is a little bit higher at 5.5% with 200, but it's typical of expenditures. You know, revenues near the end of the year, we know what's coming in. Expenditures, it's a little bit more of a guessing game with invoices you haven't received yet, especially the amount of capital projects we have going on. 5.5% is extremely close.
Awesome.
Next slides, here's a little visual of our general fund revenues and expenditures. This is our revenues. I'll just point out a couple of changes from last year. So our federal is 23% and actually decreased $2 million from last year. And we'll see this decrease again this year. It's because we received all the COVID money with ESSER. So we're spending that down. So within the next year, we'll see us spend all those down. I think, or actually I know, ESSER made up $13.5 million of that 21 million there. So, and we also have the state funding, which is 21 million. That's up 7 million from last year. And that's due to the increase in the foundation allowance, which drives how much we get per pupil. And then we have the $8.5 million proceeds from loan, which is that tax anticipation note. On to the next slide is our general fund expenditures. When you look at this, when I compare it with other districts of our size and the activity with capital projects going on, this is exactly where I expect you to be. Our biggest thing is our salaries, our people, and we're about 55% spent on salaries and people. And you see the $6.7 million in capital projects. It's what I see typically of a district of our size. And the last slide here, I know you'll love, as you talked about it before, this is our general fund balance compared to total expenditures and uses. You see that it's a very steady increasing. And this year we have $18 million in general fund balance.
Wow.
And then another big ratio there you'll see is that 19.9%. So that takes our general fund balance and divides it by our total general fund expenditures. So I believe MDE wants you to be between about 20 and 25%, and we're right there. Round up, we're at 20. So that's all the numbers there. So before I talked about how we do our audit procedures, and then we come up with our findings to make an opinion, and we also come up with our recommendations. So here is our findings. On our financial statement, we had no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no material noncompliance.
Wow.
That is huge.
For our federal awards, which is the single audit, we actually had 4 major programs this year. We did a lot of work. So it's the Child Nutrition Program cluster, the Emergency Connectivity Funds, which we received the money for all of our computers and things. We also had the Special Education Cluster, and we had the Education Stabilization Funds, which is the ESSER and GEAR money. And in all 4 of those programs, we had no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies, and no material noncompliance.
Excellent.
Now comes to like the internal control kind of portion where we make some recommendations. You'll find this on the governance letter, which you have in front of you. But we just had 3 recommendations during the year to increase compliance and strengthen internal controls. So the first one is on, it's called Davis-Bacon wage rate requirements. So with the ESSER funds, we're required to meet so many different compliance things, and we have met everything. There was just one thing where we had a misunderstanding of the Davis-Bacon wage rate requirements to where we didn't charge labor to the fund. We were completely in compliance, and we just make a recommendation that we make sure we understand all the grant compliance going into these grants. The second one is on the parental allocation for Title I. Parental allocation this year was 2%, and we just fell short of the 95% spending of that. So we recommend during the year watching that allocation and watching what we've expended to there to make sure near year end we're going to meet that 95% spent. And the last one is Title I cohort removal documentation. During the audit, we noticed there was some missing documentation for some removals of students for the cohort for the Title I program, and we just make a recommendation when those students do exit the program. We maybe make a checklist or something to make sure we retain that documentation on their exit.
Okay.
And that is it for the presentation. Did anybody have any questions?
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Gross.
Thank you. Thank you. Excellent report. And in layman terms, we're doing very well.
Definitely.
Okay. I just want to make sure. And lastly, I ask this question whenever we get this. This is every year. And I always ask this question as it pertains to our bond rating, where we are with the A, AAA, BBB. This, because of these audits, allows us to maintain or obtain a higher bond rating, which puts us in good standing, correct?
Yes, so having a clean audit, that unmodified opinion definitely gives you a leg up when you're doing these bonds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? So we have a issue at Lansing. I wouldn't call it an issue. We have we need you to reach out to your state rep, because right now in the House, there's a bill where we can have our long-term debt forgiven, emergency loans that we had to take out when we were in trouble. And so with that being said, it would probably save us about $18 million if, with the swipe of a pen by the governor in this next couple months,
Yes.
your district would be debt-free. And so I implore you to reach out to your state rep, no matter where you live, no matter who's your state rep, even if you know somebody who's a state rep from somewhere else that can help have that conversation. Pontiac is on the list to have that debt removed. It was a conversation that started with Senator Bear, maybe about we've been here about 4 years ago. It carried on to Senator Jeremy Moss. They wanted to do it earlier this year. They couldn't really get it in. It looks very hopeful, though. Yes. I mean, we passed a resolution last week. We've been talking to state legislative. We've been up moving back and forth, doing what we can, but it also helps to hear from parents and people just in the grassroots to making sure that happens. And if that happens, ain't no if. When it happens, it'll be first time that this district has been debt-free since its inception.
Yes.
And so hats off to administration, to our current finance, previous finance, people who have supported over the years. It is not easy to turn around a district from 26 million to go to $56 million in deficit. And for me to stay in front of you right now, 25 years in this fight, to tell you that you're going to be debt free. I say it proudly. I'm grateful. The work is done. There was a host of people that got us to where we at right now. And I'm very appreciative in this very moment right now to say that I'm just going to say it. They took everything from us and we gave some things away. We ain't giving nothing away next time. They're going to have to earn it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Guess the next presentation is our audit impact presentation, and that's Mr. Basil. And Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. Mr. Basili will basically provide us an overview of the impact of this audit. What does it mean? What are the next steps for the district? What do we still need to prepare for to keep us in good shepherds with our dollars?
Okay, thank you. So our first slide here, we're going to have our major highlights of the fiscal year. So we, as was pointed out by Yo and Yo, a $5.4 million surplus. Impressive. And when you consider the fact the tax anticipation note effect, so we paid $11 million out, we received proceeds of 8.5. So we took a $2.5 million paper loss, financial loss in that. So remember, the true net income is more like 7.9 million. So that's even better. But the other issue here, increasing fund balance from 12.6 to 18 million, or as was stated here, 19.9%. Again, I would say the sweet spot that I look at as 15 to 20%. Anything in that area is good. So that's great news. 10th year in a row with their annual general fund surplus. No federal findings, no financial statement findings, as was stated. Prior to 22, there were 16 years in a row where we had at least one finding. So that's a major improvement, obviously. A finding is a deficiency in a district's internal controls that results in material misstatements or regulatory noncompliance. So that's good news. Our next chart here, again, this is just simply a 17-year history of our audit findings. As you see, we peaked way up in 2013 and we've come way down. The takeaway from this, I would say, is the correlation between poor financial performance, fund deficits, and high findings. So in 2013, we were at the bottom in terms of that fund deficit. We had more findings, and now when we have a better financial picture, we have fewer findings. So it's a win-win or lose-lose. So that's the story of that. So kind of a short history of 23 in terms of where we were at with the budget adoption for net income. So we started out, we adopted the budget back in May of 22 in the first column with a surplus of 1.4 million. We adjusted it in the Amendment 1 for 475. Amendment 2 in June of 2023 was 1.1 million, and the actual, as was stated here, was 5.4. So it's a positive variance of 4.2 million, which is good. It's positive. I mean, I'd like to do things a little tighter so we have more accuracy. I mean, I'm a little stickler for that, but that's still good. We have a positive variance. So why do we have that positive variance? One side on the revenue side is we had some grants that did not end up getting deferred in terms of revenue, that we recognized revenue in the current year. So that was part of it. The other part were some unfilled teaching positions and unfilled positions that we did with contracted services and kind of piecemeal a little bit. Also a reduction in the general fund transfer to the internal service fund because of better performance. So we have unfilled positions, you know, it obviously affects quality of service. So we want to fill those positions, but it does result in a financial benefit. So here again, a 17-year history of our general fund surpluses or losses. And again, you know, we go back in 06, 07, we had some small surpluses, and then we had a rut we hit in here of all these huge net losses. In the last 10 years, we've got income. It's kind of like the last 10 years are a reverse mirror image of the previous 8 years. It's interesting how that works, but we really have turned around here. Here we have the fund balance situation again. It's you know, we started out with a very small fund balance percentage, and then we cratered as we see in 2013. Again, I like to call this a slippery slope. This is what happens when you start having structural losses. It's really hard to get out of that rut because your legacy costs build in and the multiplier effect kicks in. So it's hard to break out. So we basically climbed a long hill all the way up here in 2023 to where we're at. So the goal is to keep that up or at least stay at that 20% approximately fund balance. Here's another line graph of the general fund history. So the red line is your break-even line. The green line is your fund balance percent or fund balance in total dollars. The black line is a tax anticipation note line. And the purple line is what we've been talking about here, the general fund debt, the emergency loans. And we also have a revenue bond too that's out there. So it's totally like 26 million. So the goal here is to get this green line above the debt. So we are debt free. And obviously a big piece of this will be the forgiveness. When we get that, that'll take away $600,000 of annual principal interest payments. And then we'll also, in my opinion, the TAN is something that we should also be weaning ourselves off of. That's about $80,000 in interest expense. And if we're in a positive cash flow position as we are at 20% fund balance, there really is not a need for that. It's more of a financial gain or loss that we can do without. So that would be the goal here for the next couple of years. Okay, so major components of our surplus, so the $5.4 million surplus, these are positive factors. Again, operational savings due to the tight labor market. Again, unfortunately, it's hard to find people now, so we had to fill in with temporary people or independent contractors. Independent contractors are less costly than employees because of the MEPSRS rates, the FICA, healthcare, and so forth. So we did achieve a financial benefit from that. And that relates to transportation, custodial, contracted services, teaching positions, and so forth. We also had a reduction in our general fund transfer to the self-insurance fund for workers' comp and property casualty. And of course, our ESSERS dollars, which we had about $13.5 million, some of which were used to supplant general fund expenditures. So those were the components of the $5.4 million surplus. In terms of reductions for future budgets, so we have a nice fund balance here, but we have to guard against some storm clouds. So one thing would be, obviously, we want to achieve full staffing. We want to increase our wages, salaries, but it comes at a cost. Obviously, we're going to increase our level of service, but there will be straight on the budget, which we'll have to be proactive about and implement zero-based budgeting and financial forecasting and so forth. Our union contracts, wage and benefit increases also will put a strain, but it had to be done. Obviously, we have to invest in our people and attract quality people and reduce turnover. Full transportation, custodial services from where we're at before, we'll have some cost pressures there. Inflation will continue to be an issue, even though it's come down from 8.5% where it was a year ago to about 4.5%. It's still significantly more than the 1 to 2% it had been for 10 years. So that's going to put a challenge in our budgets for future years. Obviously, loss of the COVID funding here at the end of 24. We received by the end of 24, we'll have received about $65 million in ESSERS COVID-related funding. That's a lot of money. This year alone, it was $13 million. So once that goes away, we'll have to figure out how to fund these programs or make adjustments as we need to. Obviously, we need to continue to reduce our tax anticipation though, and get rid of the debt here. So that's a number one priority. And new programs, initiatives, continue to upgrade, expand curriculum programs, and upgrade district operations. Again, need to do that. It comes at a cost. So again, we'll have to zero-based budgeting, financial forecasting, and just the monitoring of our budgets month to month as best as we can. So these are more positive items that affect future budgets. I would say growth in property tax revenues is a big one. We're out of formula, so we don't have to rely on the foundation allowance per pupil. That's a huge differentiating factor from us. And most districts are in a really nice position, in my opinion. So and with the growth, I guess the positive effect of inflation is that property values will continue going up for at least a couple of years. And so we will continue to have revenue growth in that area, which is very positive. The at-risk program, Section 31A, the state is now fully funding that, and we're getting more revenues from that. We have a big carryover each year, so that's a pot of a resource that we can utilize to kind of relieve the general fund of some expenses. Increases in state special education reimbursement percentage. So before 2022, the reimbursement formula was 28% of special ed expenses from the previous year, plus 70% of special ed transportation expenses from the previous year. That's still in place. What was added in last year, which is very beneficial to school districts, was 100% of the foundation allowance for special ed students. In our case, we have a little over 300, so that's $3 million in extra revenue per year that we receive. So that's a game changer as far as I'm concerned. Other potential positive factors, a potential countywide enhancement millage. Obviously, that was a big deal in Macomb County where I was at. That really filled in a lot of holes and gaps. Obviously, the emergency loan debt forgiveness that we're talking about here. And hopefully, new mental health grants that come through from the state of Michigan will also help alleviate some of the loss of the COVID funding. So basically, this graph just tells us, since 2020 to 2024, we've been a beneficiary of some significant ESSERS revenues. It says $65 million in total. That's been a positive, and it's relieved the general fund of some costs. So that's resulted in a positive financial situation. And looking forward to post-COVID revenue. So look for costs to go back to the general fund. They will not be covered quite as much by the COVID revenue, so we'll have to find other funding sources or make modifications as needed. And obviously, the revenue from the loss of the one-time ESSERS funding will be realized then. Looking forward, what do we have going on here in the future? So basically, with Esther gone, I think after next year we'll have a true picture of where we're at, and hopefully get in full operating staffing mode. We'll probably have less in terms of significant surpluses. We will probably moderate, which is fine because if we're at 20%, we're not a bank. We don't have to get 30% or 35%. So the key is to manage all that and to be proactive, financial planning, and make sure we understand the multiplier effect of these contract increases. 3% one year equals 3% next year, plus another 3%. It just keeps multiplying, and that's how you get down that slippery slope. Annual budgets, again, likely to be, I'm guessing, more break even or modest positive. Again, we have $18 million fund balance, but that's more just a cushion for one-time expenditures, not legacy costs where we continue each year to add to expenses without cutting expenses or increasing revenues. 24 fiscal year, likely last year, that will be impacted by the one-time grant dollars. ESSER's funds have to be utilized by September 30th of 2024. And the 25 fiscal year should be the first year that we have, again, the true financial picture of the district. So again, our overall goals here is to let's upgrade everything. Let's be fully staffed, offer competitive wage and salaries, eliminate debt, maintain a positive fund balance, and let's be the financial model for the county and the country.
Right.
Questions?
Okay, any comments from the board? Oh, I just want to hear is debt free. Less meetings. Okay. I'm going to take a point of privilege at this particular point in time because we got some very young folks in the audience right now and they've been in school all day. And so it's only 2 comment cards. I want to move public comments if there's no objection from the board at this particular point in time so we can get them young people back at home so there's no excuse why they shouldn't do their homework. Okay. So at this time, we're going to open up public comments. You're going to have 3 minutes to present to the board. And the first one, I turn the meeting now over to the vice president.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, all. Our first comment card comes from Patrick Johnson. Topic to the board is the Pontiac Panthers would like to play our football games at Pontiac High. Mr. Johnson, welcome to our meeting.
Thank you. How you doing?
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate y'all. Everybody's look great. You're doing a great job. Heard some positive things. Keep it going. Okay.
I'm not Patrick, as you know.
Are you?
No, Miss Portia, you're not Patrick.
You're next, Miss Portia.
So you're next, Miss Portia.
I am him. I know I'm
Yes.
him, but yeah.
You're all set.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miss
Okay.
Portia.
Good evening to our superintendent, Pontiac School Board, and guests. We represent a very small piece of the 2023 championship winning team
All right.
of the Pontiac Panthers Youth Football and Cheerleading Organization for 2 years in a row, I must say.
Undefeated.
However, the purpose of today's present is to extend an olive branch and not to burn an already fractured bridge. We came to dispel myths about our organization. Yes, we are a 501c3 organization, and we have just completed 35 years of service to at least 150 children, football and cheerleaders, of which 75 to 80% attend the Pontiac School District within, they go to Pontiac School District. As a Pontiac citizen myself, who was raised here in Pontiac, a graduate of Pontiac Central High School, let's go Chiefs, obtained higher education, then returned not only to work for a portion of my work life for the school district. However, for over 30 years here in the city of Pontiac, then returned to also raise my children, both boys who played for the Pontiac Panthers Youth Football and Cheerleading Organization, who also went to Pontiac School District.
Hi, my name is David. Hi, my name is David Rogers. I got a Royal Rogers located in Pontiac. And today I want to talk about the teams we play. They play at their high schools. while we can play at ours and represent ours.
Currently, 95% of our board of director and coaching staff, who all volunteer, are and they're all Pontiac residents, spend over 1,500 volunteer hours per month before and during the season, and at times using their own money to not only buy equipment, but also food. But they also do things like pick up our children and drop them off at home. They participated, and we've all participated at one point or another, or our children or our grandchildren have also participated. 2 more sentences, promise.
Yes, ma'am.
Why am I saying this to you, you ask? Thank you. I am so glad you asked that question. We need to not only dispel myths about our organization, but we need to know how we can utilize the fields, the high school football fields, for not only our games, but our practices. Why are we paying to play and practice at a soccer field or paying to pay at Wisner Stadium? What questions do you have? And how can we move forward from here?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a board meeting. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that point of privilege. I appreciate it. We're going to move now to CTE presentation update. Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. We're excited because as we were able to close several of our financial gaps, we wanted to begin to start listening to the voices of students. And I talked about this past weekend at the town hall meeting for our OU partnership. Not all students choose to go to a 4-year college. And what they voiced and stated to administration is, how can we find out more about the trades? And we began to have discussions with local businesses in regards to their need for students to be ready and prepared to move into trades. Our first trade that we launched was 5 years ago, our patient care technician program. And today we are happy and pleased to say we are going to hear from our director of our CTE program, who will outline and give us the framework of what we actually have to offer in trades, and moving forward, what will be on the horizon for the next school year. We are so excited. We finally have a booklet with the courses within them that explains what year you should go into this actual pathway, as well as the description of the course that you will be taking and required to achieve to get certification and then move on across stage and move into the workforce. So at this time, I would like to introduce Brian Sherman, as well as I would be remiss not to include Ms. Shauna Jackson, who was our first director who helped us to launch our CTE program. Mr. Sherman, thank you so much.
Superintendent Williams, Board of Education, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Sherman.
I am proud to be here tonight to give you the state of the CTE department for the Pontiac School District and our vision for this department and the district moving forward within the next few school years. Before that, let's see, there was a slide before that one, maybe it didn't get it. But I had the opportunity to do, I know I put it in there, but I had the opportunity, if you hadn't seen it, click on Detroit.com. There was a story I ran on Manufacturing Day on Sunday morning. Our partners at Oakland Schools got me everything we needed on that. anytime I can put Pontiac or Oakland schools and what we're doing within CTE in front of a television camera, I will be the first one to champion for it. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is our current pathways and where we're going. Keep in mind, these all align to Michigan's top 10 strategic plan within the Office of Career Technical Education, which is improving the health and safety and wellness of all of our learners, expanding all of our secondary learning opportunities for our students, increasing the percentage of students who graduate from high school, and increasing the percentage of adults with a post-secondary credential. So our current pathways, we have 5 of them right now at Pontiac High School: our engineering and manufacturing, our information technology, our health sciences, our CNA PCT program, our business and finance and hospitality pathway, and our JROTC program. As of right now, only 2 of them are funded through the state of Michigan's Office of Career and Technical Education. That would be our business and finance, not our hospitality courses, and our JROTC. That will change very soon. Next slide, please. So where are we going? Currently, with our at-cost funding from the state, from grants from the Office of Career and Technical Education, we have 3 programs that are not funded. Our plan is working on getting, these certified and getting the funding we need through our students taking the correct course sequence in order to meet our completer and completer plus status. I did make an update to this slide after I sent it off. We are now going to be putting through not only, if we can go to the next slide, please, our health sciences program will be one of our first ones going through under our zip code 51.0000. That will get us money under dual enrollment for our students that are taking the CNA PCT program. We will now be also adding our manufacturing and engineering to this one as well. That was a development late last week. I'm meeting with some partners over the next couple days to get that paperwork started so we can submit both health sciences and engineering in the fall window shortly, so we can start to get some 61A1 dollars in the spring semester based on our fall semester enrollment, or it could be the end of last year. They haven't made that determination yet. Next slide, please. So looking ahead, I'm proud to announce we will be launching 3 new additional CTE pathways effective the 24-25 school year. The first one, which in my interviews for this position, I made no stranger that I was going down this pipeline, is the Education and Human Services pathway. We all know there is a need for educators in this state.
Yes.
We are heading down that pipeline. This one will focus a lot on early childhood education, ages 0 to 8. So preschool, K, 1, and 2. This is in the stages of a partnership with Oakland University to launch this cadet program. We have spent the better portion of the last month, and we just hit the send button last week on a 5-year grant for the Pontiac School District. If we are awarded this, would be anywhere between $1.1 to $1.5 million between OU and Pontiac School District as a subrecipient to build an early childhood education program right off the bat. The link for this will be a direct funnel to Oakland University for their associate's or bachelor's degrees in early childhood education. This will involve dual enrollment courses between Pontiac School District and Oakland University. I'm meeting with them on Friday to start looking at the syllabi for these courses, what it would look like. We're already talking about possible credentialing for faculty to get into this. We're running with this even if we don't get the grant. The partnership is there. Now we just see if we get the extra money we want to support all of this. Next slide, please. The other one I'm proud to say we are now in the early stages of getting done is the Emergency Services and Public Safety Pathway, our zip code 43.0100. This is in partnership with Oakland Community College. We will be sending kids to their fire academy. This will launch in about a year. They're about ready to start this year's cohort right now. We just weren't in a position to make a big rush into this. We want to vet the students that go into this because this is a heavy course load. 24 college credits from OCC in 7 different courses that will run from mid-October through May. When they're done with that, the students will be able to take the Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 exam and go to employment immediately or continue on into OCC to get their EMT license if they so choose. Next slide, please. The third one, which just came into my meetings last week, is our aviation pathway. We will be launching an aviation program here at the Pontiac School District. with the AOPA as well as Williams International here in Pontiac. Sure.
We want a trustee to hear this because he brought it back from a conference.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Definitely want him to hear. This is just for you, trustee Kraft.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, you in trouble. I want to make sure everybody on Facebook saw it. Continue, sir.
Thank you. Our third pathway we will be launching in the 24-25 school year will be our aviation pathway. ZIP code 49.0101, aeronautics, aviation, aerospace, science, and technology.
Sit down. I should have let you miss it.
This will be in partnership with the AOPA, the Association of Pilots, based out of Frederick, Maryland, northwest of Washington, D.C., and Williams International. They have had a vested interest in trying to work with the district to funnel in the next generation of aerospace and aviation engineers. This will be a 4-year commitment to any student that enters this pathway. Most of our pathways, once we get them solidified this year for next year, will have some flex room in 9th and 10th grade. But when we really get the kids to 11th grade, we have to lock them in because our funding and the big state formula for state aid for CTE is all determined on if students reach a variation of 4 levels. Right now, a lot of ours are at the bottom 2, entrant level or participant. We need to get them to completer and completer plus to get those certifications into these kids' hands to make them marketable and employable. And that in turn, we get more money to fund all of this from the state of Michigan. The aviation pathway will be that 4-year commitment, general courses, grades 9 and 10, and then can branch off in either to a pilot or to drone for 11th and 12th to get them complete through the pathway. In my conversations with the AOPA, the cost to the district for the initial PD and curriculum for this pathway will be 0. This will all be funded through the AOPA Foundation, consumables and everything we will have to do in-house, but we will make that happen. So we are in the initial stages of getting this off the ground for next year. My one big concern, as some of our district administrators have shared too with me, is our staffing needs. William, because this one is so specific, in order to get the funding I want through this, through the SIP code certification, through the OCTE, the instructor must have their FAA Part 107 drones license. I expressed my concerns about that because we already know finding CTE educators is a much more smaller pool than our gen ed teachers. You tack on this requirement to that, you whittle down the candidate pool very quick. Williams International is going to do some headhunting with us to see if they can find us someone, a retired pilot or something that may want to come into our school and teach this. They're the ones that have the experience for it. So we're in the beginning stages of what might that look like, what we would want to look for in a faculty member in the aviation pathway. So it's coming along. We will have the course scope and sequence hopefully in early January to add that to the list for next year as well. So in addition to now the 5 we have existing, we will be adding 3 new pathways effective the 24-25 school year. Awesome. Next slide, please. The 4th one, which is in the early discussion phases right now, is our esports and video game design. We know there's a student interest for this. We just need to find the funding for the infrastructure for this, which that is ongoing right now in some early discussions about possible grant writing to fund this, because we're not talking about standard computers we use at home. We're talking about high-end systems. And it wouldn't just be for video game design. That would be a part of it. But we'd also look at computer technology and repair and everything else to go with it. So, but I do know that the amount of school districts in the state that are investing heavily in esports is growing exponentially. That is an avenue we know our kids have an interest in. We need to support that. So we're in the early stages on that right now. Hopefully in early to mid 24, I'll have a more update on where that esports pathway will go. Next slide, please. Future pathway additions beyond that I'm looking at. Obviously, I'd be remiss if I didn't say radio television. It's coming. It's coming. But these 4 are on my front burner. Then once we get them launched, we can look at new ones. We are in some early discussions on an audio production pathway as well. More to come on that as we go into 2024. Next slide, please. So there is one other thing I am adding into this that was a result of some meetings last week. We are in the early stages of looking to see how ITA students can be funneled into the CTE pathways as well, because right now those students are in a building that do not have CTE teachers in them. It's going to be a logistical chess game, but I've engaged the administration and counselors of ITA in some extremely productive discussions last week. We're vetting some proposals to bring to you, the board, sooner rather than later on how to get those 200 students involved in these courses as well, because there was an interest survey done 48 hours between Tuesday night and Friday when they were over with me at the high school, and we had responses in every single pathway, including the new additions that we're looking at. So now it's about how do we make that happen? So more to come on that. With that being said, I'm proud to introduce with our communications team, the Career Pathways course guide for this school year. This does include all the courses, course descriptions being offered for the 5 current pathways, and the education and human services and emergency services and public safety pathways that are, at least the courses are solidified going into 24-25. Aviation is still being worked on right now, and then esports hopefully as well. So once we get those, we will update the digital version and get new ones out. But this is where we stand as of right now going into the 23-24 year. Those will be added in once we get it. So next slide, please. Thank you for your support. This is growing very fast. And I knew when I came in, I was going to hit the ground running with lightning speed. And this is a true understatement with it. But I'm extremely proud of what we have here so far coming into this, and where we're going to go to put Pontiac on the map. Where the aviation pathway is concerned, there are only 5 school districts in the state that have what we will be deploying next year. The nearest one, Kalamazoo-Risa. So we are about to put it, there are a few aviation programs down near Metro Detroit, but they're not what we will be engaging AOPA International in. So we've got a lot of good things ahead on the horizon here. This will help put Pontiac on the map and hopefully attract new students to our district for the diverse program structure we have.
Okay.
With that, I will take any questions that you have.
Awesome. Any questions from the board? Oh, you're going dead last. I promise you're going last. Matter of fact, I'm even going before you. Trustee Hannah.
I don't have any questions, but of course, this makes me so happy. We know that our students, they need a variety of options beyond high school. And this has been the thing that I have found great passion in, just knowing that we, the Pontiac School District, has these type of programs to offer to our students to make sure that every student has a pathway to success by the time they end high school. So Gross has basketball, the gym, the scoreboard. Terry has the numbers. This is me.
That's
so
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the hard work that you're putting into it.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Bowman.
I just can't stop smiling. This is awesome. I am so excited for our students to be able to have these opportunities, because with the climate of the world, it's changing, and we are going to be standing right there toe to toe with everybody, run in front. Like this is phenomenal, and I'm excited to say that as a VP Gross always say, what school district?
Pontiac.
Say it one more time.
Pontiac.
All right now. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. And we look forward to moving forward in this.
Trustee Gross.
Thank you. Mr. Sherman, I appreciate you. I've told you that before, and you know. But I want to thank you for continuing to carry that torch that was already lit. And man, you just come in running.
Yeah.
And we thank you. And with your connections and the profession you have, it shows your commitment on what you want to do for our children here in Pontiac. And it's good. It's great to see when we're doing positive things in the news, because they say only bad news sell, but you are showing us that good news sells even more. And thank you, and keep doing what you're doing. And man, and I keep watching. I'm gonna watch you every weekend and in the morning. You my guy. I look forward. And I tell that's my buddy. Oh, everybody's your buddy. No, literally, that's my buddy. And so, thank you for being part of this Pontiac School District family and what you're doing. And you got a excellent little mentor over there that I've been on all of our lives, because I'm only a couple of days older than her.
I'd be remiss if I did not.
That's why. Yeah, thank you.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Miss Jackson as part of this. I've got someone for life, as she says now. She has been very instrumental to me coming into this position and hitting the ground running.
Yes.
We're on the phone probably daily with each other, bouncing things back and forth, and what I want to do with this and everything. So thank you.
Thank you.
For I'm like I said, I got you for life now. So
Oh, because I know she'll call you. I've received those phone calls. She'll call you. And I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Kraft.
Thanks for coming to grab me out there, because I swear, if I'd have missed this.
Oh, I was going to make you miss it.
So I'm really excited about the programs and that's being offered and everything. Is really going to give our kids, it's going to shine a light here in Pontiac, and especially the aviation. Because I got to give you a little short, brief story about this, okay? We were in Orlando at a conference, and they were upstairs somewhere. I drifted off somewhere on my own, like a little new lamb or whatever and stuff. And I ran into these people. This one guy, he called me over. He said, "You're from Pontiac?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "We want to do some business in Pontiac." His name was Glenn. And I said, "Okay." And then he said, "You know Williams International?" I said, "Yes." I said, "They're right on South Boulevard." "Yes, you're right." And then he pitched this off to me. Then I chased every one of these board members around. "You got to see my aviation. You got to get you got to see this aviation program. You got to see this and everything." They said, yeah. They came here.
Oh, that's what we did?
Yeah.
I don't think we did that.
You didn't believe me. You didn't believe me. But then when they came here and put on that presentation, everybody's jaws dropped. So, thank you for following up with it. Thank you, Soup, for believing in me and believing in these kids. And thank you, board, for believing in it, because this is going to work. I want our babies to be on the same even playing field as any other kids in the United States. So there we go.
Thank you, Reverend Dr. Kraft.
Listen, if you just stay with us and follow this, don't just be part-time. Don't just not just show up.
Yes.
We all play a role on this board. We have different positions. I've been a football player all my life. And so they have various positions and varied things that they are tasked to do when we leave to go out of town. Because I can't just do it all and I can't see it all. And for us to go down, and he explored. This was his rookie year. This is basically his rookie conference. Like, he didn't know all the board members. He didn't understand that Pontiac School District was known on a national level. He got a chance to witness something for himself. So Troy is our community guy. He's the guy that's him, Bowman, and Mr. Gross over here. They don't know a stranger. So when they're out of time, they just meeting and greeting and, "Hey, how you doing?" Trying to figure out, what does somebody else have and what do we have, and how is that a common denominator, and how can we share that? And we used to get beat up a lot by even saying that we would travel. And I've gotten to a point now whereas you can't just stay in the same space and expect the same thing. It is very hard to do that. And so we became a certified board by the state of Michigan, one of the top tier boards in Michigan at this point, glad to say that. And so when he brought the presentation to us, the presentation now went into board governance. And he stuck with it to make sure that, it was his baby, so he had to carry it. So it's no, you just give it to a trustee and you just say it to the soup. You have to vet it through the soup. The soup is going to tell us, okay, she's going to throw in her pitch to it. Then it's going to come to board governance. And then we're going to sit down and we're going to have a real heart-to-heart. Then we had a real heart-to-heart about it. And the main one questions, what is it going to cost us? And when he said free, and when he said, these were things that he wanted to do, he just wanted, we in your backyard. This is William International. We're in your backyard. How can we help your students? The exchange is a partnership. You want our students? What are our students going to get out of this? The drone program stuck out because the summer before we had introduced our kids to drone program through the summer. Mm-hmm. And so with that just being said, is a collective work, and I'm very proud. And I went to go get him because I wanted him to hear it for himself. And we can't call him a rookie, but he's been here less than a year. But to show you that it's a working board. It's not just you just sit up here and we're just passing numbers just to be passing numbers. That's just not it. Any one of these board trustees can tell you every aspect of our district and where we want to be and how we want to see our students. And I'm very proud of that. And so thank you so much for staying consistent with that, because, now kids, maybe one of those young men who were sitting out here will be flying a drone and take their Part 107 when they're in the 9th grade and been making $30,000, $40,000 before they get to their senior year in high school, because they know how to fly a drone up to a fire escape and check that fire escape for the city. Just a little shameless plug. So, all right. Thank you so much, sir.
You can get your FAA Part 107 at 16.
Yes, you can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can.
You can get that while they're in high school.
Yes.
And start moving out.
Yes. It took me 2 tries to get mines, and I am very grateful that I did.
And they will support that because they mentioned that to me in the presentation with AOPA. They said that's part of the curriculum.
Mhm.
If these students are old enough and they want to get that Part 107, they can build that into the program.
Man, awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you.
Thank
You got
you.
anything? You got anything?
No, just thank you, Dr. Sherman. I appreciate you.
Okay.
Wow.
We're going to move down to discussion item electric bus charging depot engineering award. Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. So we have been finally awarded the actual dollars that have come to our account for our EV depot engineering, which is supporting our EV busing transition. And at this time, I will have Mr. Bill Holcomb to come up to read the bear and to talk about next steps.
Thank you, Superintendent Williams. Good evening, Mr. President, trustees, and
Good evening,
community.
sir.
The school district of the city of Pontiac was awarded a rebate from the EPA Clean School Bus Program for 25 electric buses and infrastructure in the fall of 2022 in the amount of $9,875,000. Of that money, $500,000 was awarded specifically for the charging infrastructure. Additional rebate funding is expected from the DTE Charging Forward program in the amount of $384,000. I've met with several companies and reviewed their offerings and quotes for the engineering services for the electric charging infrastructure at the Fell Center. So what this is we know we have to put in a charging system there for the buses. What this company will engineer is the space between those charges, make sure there's enough turning radius for the buses to come in there, make sure there's no underground utilities that we're going to hit. They designed the electricity from the pole from DTE where they put the transformer into the building, make sure we have enough load for electricity to power everything, all those little nitty-gritty things that we need to know about to do that. We've received quotes from OWL, which is Oscar W. Larson, Turner Electrical Services, GPD Group, Lee Contracting, and Noack and Fraus. And all the supporting document is in there with the bear. There's a comparison between them. We looked at a number of things when comparing the companies. Obviously, cost was number one. How they understood what the scope of the work was, and were they capable of providing all of those services that we had asked for. Some of them weren't able to do that. For instance, Lee Industrial, although they're a great company, we enjoy working with them, their limited exposure in the school market prohibited them from correctly filling out all of the information. They were looking at doing local drawing a blank on the word that I want. Requirements from the local municipality, but we're only susceptible to state planning for LARA. So we excluded them on those grounds. So the most reasonable bid that met all of our requirements was GPD Group. So it is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education award the EV Depot engineering project to GPD Group in the amount of $47,500.
Okay.
Questions?
Oh, questions. Oh, okay. He said 47,000 like that.
Not bad.
No, that's just for the engineering services. Obviously,
Yes.
after that, there will be installation costs, but we want to get it engineered so everybody knows what we're looking at. And it's why we waited this long. We wanted to make sure that we had the actual federal funds in the bank before we went out and hired anybody.
Yes.
We knew they was gonna hold on to them funds a little longer. That interest rate pretty good. They need it right now. So but I'm glad that we have it. It's another program that we looked at going on over to the West Coast, and looking at what happens in the electric vehicle space. We do have 2 electric vans now. I think they were purchased through Ford. That's wrapped that you see, and so our kids are experiencing. We use them in homecoming, and a couple other smaller teams use them, and I think we use them on a couple field trips. So we're making our way towards that space. Any other comments?
Just that, thank you. Again, we are the first school district in the state, correct?
Which one?
I think we were the second. It was
the
two.
largest.
So we received the largest amount.
We received the largest in the state.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you're doing, Mr. Holcomb, because your name was in that event that I went to. Your name was thrown out. They really love you over there in DTE as well. So I said, if you need a hookup, see Mr. Holcomb for DTE. No, I've just scratched that. But thank you, because our president did go out, and when it was announced by the federal government that we're going to start looking at changing over to electric vehicles, he jumped right on it immediately and brought this back to us. And here we are now. We received $9 million. You can't even count that with 2 hands. $9 million. And Madam Trustee Bowman, what district? Thank you. And it says a lot about where we are and what we're doing. And we are the trailblazers now. Thank you, Mr. Holcomb, Mr. President, for bringing this, and Madam Superintendent for getting this in. I'm excited. We're moving forward to the future. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. We're going to move down to action item. Thank you, sir. We're going to move down to action item approval of electric bus charging depot engineering award. Need a motion on the floor.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Bowman, supported by Trustee Davis Smith. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
VP Gross.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
And President Garrett.
Yes.
7-0.
All right, thank you. We're going to move down to item 3B, which was the amendment for the agenda, the vaping litigation settlement from Altria. Did I enunciate that right? Altria? Is it Altria? Altria. Okay. Need a motion on the floor.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee
Support.
Gross, supported by Trustee Bowman. Questions, comments, or concerns to the motion of accepting the settlement litigation for vaping, from vaping? Roll call, Madam Secretary.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
And VP Gross.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right, thank you. We want to move down to reports. Monthly financial report. Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
For a point of privilege, since we've just had our audit and he's kind of given us the impact of the district and the audit, if you can scale back on just a few of your slides, just to highlight where we are, and because I think they've really got the bigger picture in the others.
If we can be so kind, can we table this to next meeting then? If there's
Are you
no
fine with
objection
that?
to the, are you fine with that? Okay.
Okay.
Need a motion on the floor to table the financial report to the next regular board meeting.
Support.
So moved by Trustee Davis Smith, supported by Trustee Bowman. Questions, comments, or concerns? I know Mr. Jim like, what? Y'all did what? Roll call, please.
Well, Trustee Terry may not like that.
Treasurer sitting over there like, what?
I don't get to see my number.
He said, I like to know.
Just wanted to hear him again. All right, roll call, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Trustee Bowman?
Yes.
Trustee Kraft?
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith?
Yes.
President Garrett?
Yes.
VP Gross?
Yes.
And I'm voting yes.
I received the report.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to move down to the bond presentation update. And Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
Thank you. At this time, we will get our bond monthly update, and I will turn it over to Mr. England as well as Juan.
Good evening, Superintendent of Schools.
Good evening.
Ms. Williams, President Garrett, board members, members of the community. Good evening, sir. Good to see everybody. So, starting with this next update for October, starting with our monthly update for where we stand with completed projects, projects that are substantially complete, and projects that are in progress. We provided that information. Next slide. And that is our dates that we have outlined. A lot of them are just set hypothetical. I know that there's things that are on hold right now, but we still just have a placeholder for some of those columns, keeping it consistent. And this is bid pack 13, the high school, the cafeteria kitchen upgrade. Right now, underground is occurring. The sheet metal is pretty much complete in that space. The electrician's working on the above ceiling electrical. You can see there's a piece of concrete missing, and the new white pipe, that's the new pipe that's being installed through the serving area on the picture to the right, leading into the kitchen. Ran into some hidden conditions that kind of had a little issues, which is typical with renovations. We got that resolved, working with Brian and the team on some questions and getting some resolution. We got that underground going in, and concrete tentatively scheduled for the end of this week, being installed with masonry next week to start building those walls.
Sweet.
And that's more pictures of the underground. That's in the kitchen, actually, on the right. That is the weight room that was added mid to late summer. That is, and I have to check with the team. We're waiting on the light fixtures because that project was added in the summer. Light fix, it was approved. The fixtures were ordered. Fixtures are long lead items. So I know they were scheduled to ship the 16th. I have not heard that they arrived yet. I'm hoping to hear that they did today, or hopefully tomorrow we'll receive those fixtures, because that's just in holding pattern. I think we committed to end of December for that space. That still should not be a problem. Light fixtures could take 2 days to install in there, get inspection, drop tile, put flooring in, a couple finishes on the wall, but we could flip that very quickly. That is the science lab in the high school. That is substantially complete, ready to be occupied. Beautiful space. Looks, if you remember, it looks very similar to the way it was designed for the middle school. If you recall, when we first started this bond, I remember going in that space, there were no science cabinets. There were just plywood boxes built over piping that was abandoned. Amazing. Old VAT tile. Place looks great. Another picture of those science labs at the high school. This is the gym interior upgrade project. That is the concession. So that's the inside of the concession. I believe that's all been approved. That is all substantially complete and occupied. And I think the next picture is the outside where the coiling door was installed with the opening, and just more pictures of that concession area. And the next is your video display board, Mr. Gross. That is the inside of the gym. New basketball backboards are new. The basketball hoops are new. So that space, the sound system is all upgraded and new. So everything in that new project that we walked probably a year ago and looked at a list and that is all substantially complete and occupied. And another picture of that space. So a lot of that work was from last year, and then we did the part 2 that was added to the bid pack 30 this year. And I think that was, we're to be done the 15th, and we had an inspection for the 15th. That is a map we've had for the last months and months since last year, giving you the timelines for all the spaces. Nothing's changed. I know there's 2 toilet rooms being turned over Thursday morning at this point. They're doing the fixtures tomorrow. They're setting toilet partitions and accessories Wednesday night. And we'll have 2 more toilet rooms. And I believe the week after we'll have 2 more toilet rooms and continuing. So we have some momentum finally going with the toilet rooms and getting those turned over, in addition to the ones that were completed in the summer. The date we gave was end of December, and we're working to beat those dates. This is WHRC. That is the schedule for WHRC on the installation, as well as Roger and Harrington, which we have the pre-purchased fire alarm equipment, and the equipment, electrical, mechanical equipment is through the process of being ordered in procurement right now. And our contingency update, we keep track of that with the ALC team, where we are with contingency, making sure that we have a surplus in the end, that we're getting good value, as Jim would say, Mr. Graham, and that we have surplus at the end that can roll over back into the bond. And that concludes the bond update for this month.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you, Juan, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to move down to curriculum and instruction, discussion item 2023-2024 course selections. The presenter will be Dr. Kimberly Leverett. Superintendent, the meeting is yours.
I will defer to Dr. Leverett.
Thank you, Superintendent. Good evening, President Garrett, trustees. These are the 23-24 course selections, background rationale. Administration is recommending the Board of Education approve the 23-24 course selections offered for 6th through 12th grade students in Pontiac School District. The courses are aligned and meet state content expectations for grade graduation requirements developed by the Michigan Department of Education. Courses in bold are newly created courses for the 6th through 12th grade students as of June 1st, 2023. Funding source NA recommendation. It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Education approve the 23-24 course selections.
All right, any questions from the board? Well, I got a few. So this math course selection that was just added for the 10th grade through 12th, agriculture and science environmental, what was that one? Was that around one of the CTE pathways or something that they were doing over at ITA? That was one of the 2023. Those are one of the new ones that were just ads. That was just added. No, we don't know.
I cannot answer that, but I will look into it. Yolanda, do you know if there was a new teacher added, or is that one of our, I'm not sure, Dr. Leverett? Can we get back with the, I promise I will have that. Yes.
And I wanted to put that out. We had closed session, and I wanted to put that out there because remember we talked about the agricultural science and moving in that space, and so I just got a little excited. I was like, oh.
Well, that wasn't because of me. Because I looked into it. It was so expensive. I was like, woo, but I will check into it and find out.
Okay, and just thank you for adding CAD programming.
Yes.
And computer science.
Yes, I'm aware of those.
The principles based computer science course offerings. So yeah, that was it.
We'll find out about the agriculture.
I appreciate it.
You would see that. I did not see that in there.
You've been cracking on me all day.
No, that's good. That's a good thing. Because what we miss, you catch.
No, that's good. You're right. You're right. And those at home, well, people at home are used to us.
Right,
and I know we have guests today.
Yes,
Dr. Lomax, I wanted to say, and Miss Erin from Third Eye, who is working on our comprehensive strategic action plan. Welcome. Thank you for staying throughout the whole meeting. And we just look forward to having you here and some of the work that you're going to be doing. So just blessings to you. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, sir.
But this is really one of our regular meetings. Like, we're not having a good time about what we're doing for students. I don't even want to serve with people like that. And so we kind of changed the whole landscape of how we have our meetings. Some people, don't agree. They think we should be as stiff as boards and have these kind of distinguished title offering type of call me president in the middle of the night at 7 p.m. And we should be happening to the students that come before us, because if we're excited about it, they're going to be excited about it. And so when we feel to change something, we're going to change it. We feel a need to make sure that our kids are being exposed to the best. That's what we're going to do. And so again, thank you for having us and watching the meeting. So we're going to move down to action item, approval of the 2023-2024 course selections. Need a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Gross, supported by Trustee Bowman. Questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes.
Trustee Davis Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. And Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
All right. Thank you. We're going to move down to, you did give me a point of privilege. Thank you. We also have for communications and petitions and delegations.
Yes,
We gave them a point of privilege early in the meeting so we can get the young folks home so they couldn't make excuse about not doing homework. Board comments and announcements. We're going to start with Trustee Davis Smith. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Good. I'm great.
So I just wanted to say this was a great meeting. I'm excited about our career pathways, and I'm happy for our students that received awards today. That was really nice and encouraging for our students. And I just thank our administration for doing the job that they do. We do a great job, and we're on the path to the right way of where we need to be at. But I still encourage our parents and family members to be involved in their students' education. It's a must that they are involved in their education. I was able to stop at a couple schools last week just to help out a little bit and things like that. And our teachers, they have many jobs besides just teaching. So I believe that when our children come to school, they come to learn, but our teachers are doing more than just teaching. So they really need the support of the parents and family members and friends at home. So I just want to encourage our families to get involved in their students' education and extracurricular activities. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Trustee Bowman, good evening.
Good evening. I just wanted to say that this was a fantastic meeting, and I am excited about the continued forward progression that this district has shown with the career pathways for our young people and continued support with our administration and staff. It is just a delight to my soul for Pontiac to continue to move forward. And again, parents and community members, we open our doors for you to volunteer and come help in any way. We just have a small form that you need to fill out to make sure that we have the right people around our babies. So come out, community, come and support and continue to help Pontiac press forward. And that's about it. It's been a great meeting, and good night.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Kraft. Good evening, sir.
Good evening,
Still
everyone.
smiling.
You just don't know how much, because, I grew up in the Pontiac school system and the district and everything. And I didn't know, I'm really at awe right now that I'm in a position right here to make a difference. And I'm taking this chance and I'm running with it. And with the support of my board right here, I've learned a lot. I came in here, I ran actually on I was pissed off. And I was one of those parents and citizens that didn't understand how this process worked and how things work here. And I was one of them that had the misinformation. And it takes to come inside to actually know what's going on and how dynamic our school system is. And it took me, I'm a believer, and it didn't take long either. Once I got here, I started looking at test scores and different things, how things was rising, all the new programs that we were implementing. And, and it's been a wonderful 10 months since I've been on the board. And like I said, through my colleagues, I've learned a lot. And we sit down, like I said, we're a team. And if we have any disagreements, we sit and we work it out and we'll figure it out for the best interests of our children. And, you think about things of what you are and what you do in life and all this. And this is a wonderful thing for me because I can look back right now and say that I'm giving back and I'm doing it on a different platform as opposed in the neighborhoods where I was doing non-traditional basketball leagues and things like that. So now I've learned how to organize it and learn how to be around people to help me think better. I've learned how to think better. You be around collective minds and stuff, you say knives sharpen knives. And, you know, my little dull knife is, is really sharp and I can cut through something right now. So I like the direction that the school district is going in. I like, you know, I like just the whole promise of our Pontiac students and being in a position to actually excel in life. So thank you, everyone, and good night.
All right. Thank you. Treasurer, Trustee Terry. I love it. I love it.
Good evening once again. Just want to say congratulations to Kennedy and both Harrington on your work that you're doing in the school, just reflecting out in the community and getting that recognition. And we appreciate all the work and hard things you do. So keep that up. Once again, congratulations. I want to say thank you for the reports that we received today. Always good information. I love numbers. Audit is always a wonderful thing. So, you know, 2 years in a row with 0 findings. I mean, that's something to be very proud of. So take your hats off and throw them in the air, whatever you want to do, a little celebration. But that's awesome work. It shows that the team that we have right now is working hard, making sure everything is done in order. And we're kind of holding ourselves accountable to that. So I want to say, keep up the good work. Let's continue to move forward, and hopefully next year, let's push for 3 years in a row and keep moving Pontiac forward. So thank you again for the reports and the career pathway. Just awesome news. Just awesome news. I wish this was out when I was in school back in the day, but you know, things happen. It is what it is. But to have this opportunity now to let the kids, you know, have those choices and those selections in advance before graduation, to have the opportunity to pick their career path without having to go to college and try to figure it out for themselves. It's awesome. So I want to say keep up the good work for that. And I'm looking forward to these new programs to come. So, and I'm sure as we grow and expand, I'm sure that program also would expand and we get other opportunities out there as well. So keep that up as well. Other than that, though, I want to say thank you. It's been a good meeting. Enjoy it myself. So let's keep moving Pontiac forward. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Madam Secretary, Trustee Hannah, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great, ma'am.
Good. I'm not going to repeat everything that my colleagues have said. I concur. But this has been a great meeting. I'm really excited about the direction of the Pontiac School District. So thank you.
All right. That was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay. Hey, Ms. Jackson. How our international superstar doing back there? Our national superstar. You all right? Okay. All right. Thank you. Trustee Groves, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. That's a song, right? Hey, Miss Jackson. No, I'm just.
Jesus.
I just throw out a little humor before I say what I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
And I want to make my comments towards this audience and those out in TV land and those who have a for sure interest in what we're doing. Not to those who, no matter what we're doing, it matters not to them. But this is the message for those who have a for sure interest in what we're doing. And if I'm not mistaken, the last, I think, 4 board meetings, almost, if not all board trustees have said, this has been a great meeting.
Yeah.
So what that means is the information that has been shared has ensured that we believe in our hearts and minds that these are great meetings. Now, I don't know who was the creator of the agenda. And I do know on Wednesdays, I thank Mr. President for inviting me, that I meet with the president and superintendent, and we provide a outline on what the next meeting would be. And within those outlines, there are specific things that we do. And it just so happens that we recognize our students, We also implemented recognizing our employees. And then we vote on specific items that will ensure that our students are provided with everything they need to get the best education that they can. So, those of you who are here and out there who have a very intrigued interest on what it is that we're doing, just take a look at these meetings and you'll be able to answer everything you want as far as what we're doing. So all the misconceptions, the rumors, and again, I won't reiterate what was said before, but it kind of disturbs me when I'm sitting in a meeting where I'm so elated on what we're presenting that at board comments, every board member says this was a great meeting. So it means that we're doing our due diligence to ensure that it's not for us. We just give directions and then we listen. But we're seeing the results of what we're asking or recommending based on what we're voting for and what our employees are doing. So it shows that we are doing an extremely fantastic job at what we're doing. So those of you who really have a strong interest and want to continue to be involved with what we're doing, come on down. I say that was the Price is Right. Come on down. Be the next contestant at the Pontiac School District Board of Education meeting. And I guarantee you, you will leave here excited, elated, happy because of what we're doing here. I think everybody that has taken part in this, Mr. Baselli, man, you came in at a good time. And to hear where we are financially compared to where we were before. Well, I know where we were. And I'm going to say this, and it may sound a little humorous, but that one chart they showed, everything from like 05, 06, and 07 was a little up there. Then boom, it hit. Well, I was here during 05 and 07, but when I left, it went down. So I think the issue was I should have stayed. I should have stayed. So then we come back in 2020, and I say, wait, that bad boy shot up again. So I think I was the cog. And the reason why we went to such a low deficit. I'll take that. But I'm back. It was my fault. But I'm back. And here we are. I am so excited with everything that has been going on in these meetings for the last 6, 7, 8, 10 months. And let's continue to do what we're doing because, listen, he said it plainly. This is a different board. We're unique because we're different. And we're taking care of business. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I appreciate you so much. I do want to extend, if the board willing, we're going to have a conversation with the Pontiac Panthers at our board governance. But I want to make something perfectly clear. Okay. I may not have been born and raised in Pontiac, but I was groomed here, and I'm just as much invested. I ain't scared of nobody. Nobody. I raised my family here, my kids. I'm going to raise my grandchildren here. We're going to walk down the street like I walked that little Zion. We're going to be happy. I brought my brother here. My dad finished his career here. So when I tell you that old way of doing politics, I ain't on nobody's side. I rock with the kids. And we're going to do what's best for kids. I don't respond. I don't get off my throne to respond to chatter. Because as my grandfather would say, if you are in a circus and you are with the clown and you're arguing with the clown, Nobody who's attending the service or circus knows who the clown is. So I will never, ever, ever relinquish my throne. My crown may tilt, but I will shake my head and it will never fall off. We are the Pontiac School District. We will continue to do all the things we promised that we said we were going to do. We're not easily intimidated. We won't be moved by any decision. You throw any decision at this board, I guarantee you, we're going to give you a solution. We have the people here. The superintendent, Kelly Williams, will retire from the Pontiac School District. Period. If people are not going to get on the page of where we at, no problem. We have an outstanding HR. Outstanding. We have policies and procedures that we follow, that we will follow. And if we find out that you snuck around and went through the back door and used your personal relationships to come in our house, we'll take care of that too. This community is our community. We ain't just up and just decided. I put my life on the line every single day. Nobody can say they do what I do. And I do it with a smile because it's my calling. That's the difference. That's why we can come back. That's why I can beg Mr. Gross to say, hey, listen, I need you to get us a second try.
Yes, sir.
I need you to take this another. I can go to see Nishahan. I can go and talk to a college roommate and a colleague, a trustee Terry, and say, give it a shot. So when people say that we don't have what we have in Pontiac, right? When people who are not born and raised, and I look at a business owner and entrepreneurs and Trustee Bowman and Trustee David Smith, my sister. What you talk? Where you at? Where you? I work with a host of powerful Pontiac people every single day. So some of y'all may have been born here and raised, but you wasn't groomed here. And so it's a difference. No, it's a difference.
Yes, sir.
So you want to help us? You want to be a part of the team? Fill out the volunteer form. Talk to the superintendent. Don't ever think you're going to get away with something in this district and we're not going to find out about it. And we're going to take care of it. I'm happy to be here. Trey Craft, you don't know how it makes me feel to see you sitting here because I know the work that you put in to be here.
Yep.
So I'll take a motion to adjourn before Ms. Wright gets me.
Support.
Moved by Trustee David Smith, supported by Trustee Bowman. Questions, comments, or concerns? Roll call, please.
Trustee Kraft.
Yes, sir.
Trustee David Smith.
Yes.
President Garrett.
Yes.
VP Gross.
Yes.
I'm voting yes. Treasurer Terry.
Yes.
And Trustee Bowman.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
The meeting adjourned at 8:09. Hey, listen, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page so you can keep and following what we're doing here in the Pontiac School District. We're doing some great and some amazing things. Just hit that little like button so you can get all the notifications and check out the website. Make sure all of our alumni stay included to what we're doing here. Thank you so much for supporting us. We do look at the comments. I do go back through them. Those who are on, social media, we know you can't always get here, but we appreciate having you here. Okay, trust the process, and we love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. It's Pontiac School District. Thank you.
Boom. Yo.
Hey, hey.